Well lads, what's the crack and welcome to my Premier League predictions for Matchweek 14, and for the first time this season it is midweek action in the Premier League. That's when we're getting close to Christmas time, when we start having two games of Premier League for each team per week. So, looking at the lineup of fixtures coming up here, I'm really looking forward to these midweek fixtures coming up, obviously. Looking at how we did then in match week 13 over the weekend, I would score 6 points out of 20. Not my best week, however. I did correctly predict Chelsea 1, Arsenal 1, and I did correctly predict Fulham to defeat Spurs as well. So there's still, as always, good positives to take there. However, hopefully we do get higher than 6 in this one. So as always, before we do get into this video, remember as always to like the video, subscribe if you're new, click the bell, share this as many people as possible, leave a comment as well. I really enjoy all the engagement you give me, lads. I really love all the support you give me as well. And so then, lads, let's get into this Premier League predictions for match week 14. And so we'll start off then on Tuesday night, and we've got 3 matches, and the first of which takes us to the Vitality Stadium as the Cherries are welcoming the Toffees here in this one. The Bournemouth last time out, it was a 3-2 defeat away from home against Sunderland, of course. A 2-0 up, Tyler Adams with a halfway line screamer as well. It was all going so well for the away side. However, they bottled it. They conceded 3 goals without reply, and it definitely was a very long journey back down south for the Bournemouth fans. Meanwhile, for Everton, obviously, that surprised me. I thought they were going to show up and destroy Newcastle on home turf. It actually happened the other way around. Newcastle destroyed them 4-1, and fair play to Newcastle. But Everton, after their historic victory at Old Trafford on Monday night before, it was such a terrible, embarrassing defeat there at the Hill Dickinson Stadium, and it does definitely set Everton plenty of steps back after a couple of good steps forward. So here in this one, it's very hard to see Everton win this one, in my opinion, actually, especially considering their terrible form at the Vitality Stadium, and they've actually never won at the Vitality Stadium in the Premier League either. So I do believe this one is certainly not going to be an Everton 3 points, and I do believe Bournemouth, that this still show good signs of good performance against Sunderland, especially in the first half, and I do believe on home turf here they're bound to get back to winning ways. And so here in this one, I'm going to say Bournemouth will be the better team, and we'll get a well-deserved 2-0 victory come the final whistle. The goal scorers, I'm going to say the youngster creepy at striker is going to get himself back on the score sheet, and he's going to open the scoring after half an hour here, making it 1-0. And early on in the second half, then I'm going to go for the young English midfielder and Alex Scott here to once again make ground-breaking strides forward in his career. Double lead here in this one, and sailing Bournemouth. It's going to be a massive 3 points for Ariola's side. However, after their annihilation over the weekend, Everton will lose back-to-back games, I'm going to say. Next then we go to Craven Cottage as Fulham are welcoming Manchester City here in this one. City, after back-to-back defeats, they only just about survived at home to Leeds United. There was a 3-2 victory there, 2-0 up early on, went back to 2-2. Phil Foden, injury time winner there at the Adial, but still it does prove that City seem to have hit a bit of a slump in form as of recently. So this one actually is going to be pretty interesting, especially after Fulham managed to escape seemingly their slump in form with a massive 2-1 victory away against Spurs. Now, yes, there was a bit of luck behind that by the fact that Vicario just lost his brain for a minute there seemingly, but still, Fulham, fantastic victory, 2 goals in 6 minutes, and the opening 6 minutes is what got the job done there. And I tell you what, fully deserved victory there. Obviously, Spurs at the end of that just weren't good enough. But here in this one, obviously, Fulham are coming into this fixture as always with an unwanted record. They haven't actually defeated Man City in all competitions since 2009, and they haven't actually defeated Man City at the Craven Cottage since 2005 either. So yeah, Fulham definitely do struggle against Man City. But here in this one, I do believe this presents their best chance of ending that ugly record in years, obviously, because Man City at the minute currently seemingly are not in a good place, and after Fulham's win away against Spurs, that's going to gain a lot more momentum and motivation. I do believe Fulham are capable of getting a result here, at least here in this one. However, the way it's going to happen, unfortunately, no. I still do believe City are good enough to win this one. It's going to be high scoring affair, but I'm going to go for City to scrape a back-to-back 3-2 victory from the final whistle here. I'm going to say it's going to be 1-1 at half-time. I'm going to go for Fulham to open the scoring within the first 5 minutes, and Alex Iwobi will be the man to send the Cottagers 1-0 ahead. However, before half-time, I think Phil Foden will have the score at 1-1 then with an equaliser. In the second half then, I'm going to say Erling Haaland will give City the lead here in this one early enough on to make it 2-1. Before then, I'm actually going to back the Nigerian winger on loan from AC Milan, Samuel Chukwueze, to get his first goal, I do believe, for the Cottagers to make it 2-0 with 10 minutes to go, and giving Fulham plenty of hope that they can get at least a point here in this one. However, I'm going to say, just like against Leeds, an injury time winner is going to seal City a big 3 points here in the Premier League, and it's going to be Ryan Cherky off the bench for his second Premier League goal with the citizens to get City all 3 points here in a tricky away trip to the capital on Tuesday night. So Fulham 2, City 3. This one's going to have goals, lads. I think Fulham definitely will be able to put it up to them and make it very tight. However, City, I'm going to say, just say against Leeds, they won't be great. However, they'll get the job done and get 3 points on the board. And the third and final match then on Tuesday night, it takes us to St James's Park as Newcastle United are welcoming Spurs in this one. Obviously, last time Newcastle, a brilliant 4-1 display there away against Everton 2. Even Malik Thiaw getting 2 goals for himself. So fair play to the tune. Last time out, Spurs, obviously, it was a 2-1 defeat at home to Fulham as they've now lost 3 games over the past week. They're currently 4 without a win as well. And currently, I'm just struggling to see where this next one's coming from, obviously, because week in, week out, they're just putting in per performance after per performance. Their defence has been absolutely abysmal. And yes, there's some quality there in the midfield, even in the forward line too. But I still do believe they're just nowhere near currently their full potential at the minute. The overall Spurs under Thomas Frank is just not working out at the minute, of course. And unfortunately for them, this fixture is coming at a terrible stage because the past 3 times Spurs have travelled to St James's Park in the Premier League, they haven't only just lost, they've been annihilated. And you know what, lads? I know I'm trying to get as many premonitions as right here, but you know what, lads? I'm going to go for a bit of a crazy one here. And I do believe it definitely can't happen because Spurs at the minute are so unpredictable. Newcastle, proved against Everton, they can score goals as well. This fixture always has plenty of goals, especially at St James's Park. So you know what, lads? Newcastle are going to annihilate Spurs here in this one. And it's going to be a similar scoreline Spurs fans have seen as of recently. I'm going for Newcastle to stunningly win this one 5-3 from the final whistle at St James's Park. You heard that right, lads. 5-3 Newcastle on Tuesday night. Just you watch. I'm going to say within the first 10 minutes, Spurs will actually find themselves 2-0 ahead here in this one. I think Richarlison's going to open the scoring extremely early here before then the league gets doubled in quick succession for a first Premier League goal I do believe is going to be by Xavi Simons, a Dutchman. He's going to make a 2-0 here. Spurs will be laughing very early on here. However, that laughing is going to be short-lived. Newcastle will pull a goal back thanks to Joe Linton before then. On the stroke of half-time, Nick Voltamato will equalise and the sides go into the break, locked on horns at 2-2. However, the second half is going to see a Toon onslaught on the Spurs goal. They will take the lead to make a 3-2 thanks to a goal by Harvey Barnes, the man on form at the minute. It's going to be 4-2 then with 20 minutes to go thanks to Bruno Guimaraes. And then the cherry on top is going to be a 5th goal, this time scored by the centre-back, the Swiss man, Fabian Schär. I do believe the third will come in injury time for Spurs, and it's going to be Ronald Kolomuani to get that goal. However, ultimately here, although Spurs, yes, they'll score a few goals here in this one, their defence is once again going to be absolutely abysmal, letting them down big time here in this one. And Newcastle up against per defences like Spurs at the minute, they are ruthless, and I'm going to say here on Tuesday night it's going to be no difference. So Newcastle 5, Spurs 3, just you watch, lads. This result definitely is very possible in my opinion. And now kick-starting a hectic Wednesday night at the Emirates Stadium as the current league leaders Arsenal are welcoming the Bays Brentford here in this one in a bit of a London derby. Arsenal last time out it was a 1-1 draw away from home against their big London rivals Chelsea, obviously. Despite Chelsea going into 10 men there in the first half, it was a Moises Caicedo red card there, obviously. But still, it's been a brilliant run so far this season for Arsenal. And yes, it's never nice to drop points, especially when you're in their position. However, I do believe still they'll be happy enough and they'll be coming into this one fully expecting 3 points. But Brentford are not a team to take lightly whatsoever. They defeated Burnley 3-1 last time out in the Premier League. But as of recently against Arsenal, always able to make it a tight match pretty much every single time Arsenal and Brentford play. It's going to be a tight match, and especially, they're always, well capable of getting big results against the Gunners too. I mean, last time the Bays travelled to the Emirates Stadium in the Premier League, it was a 1-1 draw. So, in my opinion, Brentford are well capable of getting a result here. However, Arsenal still, in my opinion, are in good form. Yes, Saliba could be missing alongside Gabriel here in this one too. So I do believe they're going to concede at least 1 goal here. However, I think Arsenal are good enough to still win this one. It's going to be an narrow one, a bit of an ugly affair, but it's going to be a 2-1 victory for the Gunners come the final whistle. I'm actually going to say the Bays will go into half-time with the 1-0 lead, and it's going to be Kevin Schade, the German winger, to give the Bays that 1-0 lead here, crucially, just before half-time here. However, I'm going to say an equaliser by Bukayo Saka on the hour mark will set Arsenal right, and before then a winner by Victor Gyökeres not long after is going to seal the Gunners a big 3 points here in this one. So it's not going to be easy for Arteta's side. However, I'm going to say they'll face the Bays challenge valiantly and will get a massive 3 points to continue their title surge. And next we go to the Amex Stadium for two teams here currently on top form as the Seagulls Brighton. They're welcoming Aston Villa here in this one. Aston Villa has 5 wins in a row now. I believe it could be even more, much more actually, if it wasn't for their 2-0 defeat at Anfield a couple of weeks ago. But of course last time it was a narrow 1-0 victory at home to rock bottom Wolves, and maybe on paper that doesn't look like the best result, but at the end of the day it's 3 points on the board. That's all Aston Villa will care about at the minute, obviously. Whereas for Brighton, obviously it was a big 2-0 victory away against an on-form Nottingham Forest team as well last time. So both teams, the big victories over the weekend, both teams brimming with confidence coming into this one too. I do believe that this one is going to be a high quality encounter, but I do believe Villa's record against Brighton is actually pretty good, so I do believe Villa will just about have enough here to win this one. Brighton as well can't tend to be inconsistent. That's something Aston Villa have not been over the past number of weeks at all either, so I'm going to say Villa will just about have enough to get a victory here and a narrow 2-1 victory with Everton when the final whistle. It's going to be a brilliant first half for Unai Emery's side. A 2-0 lead going into the break, goals coming through, the man currently on form, Daniel Malin opened the scoring here, and in quick succession then going to back Morgan Rogers, a double lead here, giving Villa a comfortable 2-0 lead going into half time. In the second half then I'm going to say Brighton will gain a bit of hope in the Paraguayan midfielder. Diego Gomez will pull a goal back, however an equaliser will not be found here. Brighton will lose out and Villa will continue their brilliant run, making it 6 wins in a row now in all competitions and get a huge 3 points here at the Amex. Next time we go to Turf Moor as the Clarets Burnley are welcoming Crystal Palace here in this one. Burnley, as I mentioned earlier, a 3-1 defeat away against Brentford last time out. Zian Fleming got their penalty goal, however ultimately it was once again yet another defeat here for the Clarets, who yes, at times have played good football, but the results are not showing. They've lost 4 games in a row now and currently they're just not in a good place whatsoever, and it definitely is looking like they'll be going straight back down already this season. Crystal Palace last time, obviously it was a 2-1 defeat at home to Man United there, of course. Matata got a penalty there, they were leading 1-0 at half time, but Joshua Zirkzee, he channeled his inner prime Van Basten as well for that goal, and Mason Mount bamboozled Crystal Palace defence and scoring that beautiful free kick there. Bruno Fernandes as well bamboozling them too there. So overall, as United fans, so happy we finally defeated our broken team, especially at Selhurst Park, but it's back-to-back defeats now against Strasbourg and United there for Crystal Palace, and so at the minute definitely is lots of uncertainty there for Oliver Glasner's side. However, this game definitely is perfect for Palace to get back on track and get back to winning ways. Yes, they're away from home here, it's a long journey up north to Turf Moor, however I do believe Palace are definitely a much better team than Burnley, and therefore I'm going to say Palace will get a relatively comfortable 2-0 victory away from home when the final whistle, just like they did nearly 2 weeks ago away against another struggling side in Wolves. I'm going to say at half time it's going to be 1-0 to Palace. Jeremy Pino is going to score the only goal of the first half, and in the second half then I'm going to go for Adam Wharton to score his first goal for Crystal Palace at long last. He's coming closer and closer as each game does tick by. I do believe it's coming, lads, and I believe this game is going to be the one where we see it. So Jeremy Pino, a first for Adam Wharton, a 2-0 victory for Palace as they get back on track relatively easily away from home against relegation threatened Burnley. And now we go to the Molyneux Stadium for a massive Midlands derby here as Wolves are welcoming Sean Dyche's Nottingham Forest here. And I mean, Wolves, they're just losing left, right and centre as always. It was only an hour 1-0 defeat away against Aston Villa last time, but still, there's 4 games in a row now in the Premier League, possibly even more, without even scoring a goal. Never mind getting the point, never mind getting a win, of course. So, under even Rob Edwards now, 2 games gone, things not improving whatsoever, and it's looking very, very bleak at the minute for this Wolves team. However, they're bound to win from somewhere. I do believe it's coming, lads. And Nottingham Forest, yes, they've been in good form as of recently, but their defeat at home to Brighton last time on Sunday there definitely wasn't good whatsoever. And in my opinion, the Forest can be a beatable team if the other team is up for it. I do believe Forest are very much beatable. And I think after that Brighton win there at the City Ground, Wolves will gain much more confidence coming into this one, especially considering they're on home turf as well. So, you know what, lads? Screw it. Wolves are bound to win eventually. I believe lads, we're going to see it here. I'm going to back Wolves to stun Nottingham Forest here and get a massive 3-2 victory come the final whistle here at the Molyneux. I'm going to set half time. It is going to be 1-1 here. I'm going to say an early goal by the Colombian John Arias is going to give Wolves an early 1-0 lead. But then I'm going to say Morgan Gibbs White, the villain now in the eyes of Wolves fans, is going to equalise here to make it 1-1, bringing the score 1-1 going into half time. In the second half, then I'm going to say the star player who should be the star player for Wolves, Jurgen Strand-Larsen. He's not stepped up at all this season, but he's going to step up here in this one. He's going to score a brace within 10 minutes to give Wolves a heroic 3-1 lead here. Forrest will try again, something back, and Chris Wood off the bench will make it 3-2, but ultimately Forrest will leave it too late here. I'm going to say Wolves in heroic fashion are going to get their first victory of the season at long last here at the start of December, and it's going to come against their Midlands rivals, Nottingham Forest here. Just you watch, lads. I'm confident Wolves will finally get a win this season. Next time we go to Elland Road as Leeds United are welcoming the Blues. Chelsea here. Past week definitely has been some stuff from dreams really for Chelsea, and I know, last time against Arsenal they dropped points there, but ultimately a 1-1 draw at home to Arsenal isn't a bad result whatsoever. It does prove that Chelsea that they're capable of competing against the current league leaders and arguably the best team in Europe at the minute after Arsenal's heroics in the Champions League, of course, in the Gunners too, and that was with Moises Caicedo getting sent off in the first half too. But however, his loss here in this one definitely could be detrimental for Chelsea's midfield as well. So I do believe, Chelsea have been very good as of recently, but I do believe there definitely could be a bit of a drop in performance coming very soon, and this game definitely could be it. I do believe Leeds are capable of making this one a tight one on home turf too, especially, and I think the loss of Caicedo, as I did just mention too, is going to be big. However, Chelsea still are in good form. I do believe still they're well capable of winning this one as well. It's going to be an narrow one, but a 1-0 victory from the final whistle is what I'm going to go for here. The only goal of the match coming in the first half through the Portuguese winger Pedro Neto is going to deliver the goods here. Ultimately, it's going to be a bit of an ugly display here. Chelsea won't play their best football, however, they get 3 points in this one and keep their good form and keep their unbeaten streak going away from home here at Elland Road. And to finish off ahead to Wednesday, then we go to Anfield as Liverpool are welcoming the Black Hats Sunderland here in this one. And Liverpool finally won a game, lads. Oh my word, they did it. A 2-0 victory away against West Ham. What's even more crazy is Alexander Isak scored a goal in the Premier League. Oh my word, lads, the end is near for sure. However, Liverpool, listen, it wasn't their best performance. However, 3 points on the board away from home against West Ham. That is the main thing there, and it's a crucial victory for sure here for Liverpool's season as a whole. But Sunderland too, they weren't in the best form coming into their match against Bournemouth, and of course they got a 3-2 victory there, fought back from being 2-0 down. So I do believe that's going to give Sunderland loads of confidence coming into this one too. And we've seen already this season when Liverpool have won matches, whether it be in the Premier League or the Champions League, and we think, okay, finally now, this is going to be Liverpool back playing Liverpool football, back at their best. However, time and time again, it proves not to be. They defeated Villa 2-0, things didn't change. They even defeated Real Madrid 1-0, things didn't change. They've now defeated West Ham 2-0. People are going to think, surely now it's going to change. I'm telling you now, lads, it's not. So yes, I'm going to say Liverpool's perform will continue here. I'm going to back Sunderland to get an historic 1-0 victory from the final whistle here at Anfield. The only goal of the match coming by Wilson Isidore in the first half here. And that's all I'm going to say here, lads. I think Liverpool, once again, will be very poor here. They're not going to be able to go back-to-back here in the Premier League. And I'm going to say after their brilliant victory over the weekend, they're going to be brought right back down to reality here. Sunderland, they're a very good team. They're capable of getting these results away against the Big Six. They proved that earlier this season with a 2-1 victory away against Chelsea as well. I do believe they're well capable of doing this, lads, and I do believe with Liverpool's current form, I do believe they're going to drop off once again, and I believe that this is going to be it. Sunderland 1, Liverpool 0 here at Anfield. Just you watch, Liverpool are not back, not whatsoever, and they're going to lose once again here in the Premier League to the hands of the newly promoted Black Hats. And now we finish off on Thursday night as Manchester United are welcoming West Ham United here to Old Trafford. And of course, it's typical, with our first midweek match of the season, and it's on a Thursday night. The same night we've been playing for years in the Europa League. It is typical. However, listen, I'm still looking forward to this one, obviously, especially after our 2-1 victory away against Crystal Palace there last time out, obviously, at Selhurst Park. And listen, a brilliant 3 points there, 2 brilliant goals too. Was it a great performance? No. First half was pretty atrocious. Second half was a bit better, but still not really good from us there. But still, the fact we got 3 points there, the fact we did win a match in London, which wasn't at Craven Cottage, definitely is something as well. So I believe, that definitely is a big result for us in terms of momentum, in terms of motivation too. And yes, West Ham, last time they came to Old Trafford, they won 2-0. But overall, their record here at Old Trafford is very poor. And with Lucas Paquetá, being suspended here after his red card against Liverpool. I do believe we're well capable of winning this one here. Now, once again, I don't think it's going to be the greatest performances here, but we are going to just about get a 2-1 victory from the final whistle here. I'm going to say at half-time it's going to be 2-0 United. The 2 goals in the first half will come through Bruno Fernandes to open the score, before then Joshua Zirkzee, the Dutchman, up top. That goal out Sellers Park's going to gain him massive confidence. I'm going to say then he'll get 2 goals in 2 games now in the Premier League, and 2 goals there in the first half will give us a comfortable 2-0 going into half time. In the second half, then I'm going to say West Ham will fight back a wee bit, and then I'm going to say later on Nicholas Fulkrug off the bench will get a goal back. However, West Ham will not be good enough in the end of the day here, and although United won't be the great either, I'm going to say we'll just about have enough, and we'll just about be good enough compared to West Ham to get a big 3 points to go back-to-back wins here in the Premier League. Come on, United. I believe we can defeat West Ham here at Old Trafford. Anyway, lads, I'm going to end today's Premier League predictions for Matchweek 14. I hope you have enjoyed it, of course. What do you think about my predictions? Are they good, are they bad? What would you change? Let me know in the comments below. As always, lads, remember to like the video, subscribe if you're new, click the bell, share this with as many people as possible. And so then I'll see you all in the next one here on KDFG.